everybody, and welcome to the Esports.net recap show. My name is Oliver Bass, otherwise known as Bass of the Past, alongside by none other than Pyro J. And this is a show recapping key moments and key events from around the world of esports in the last week. And Pyro, today we're kicking this one off talking yet again about Modern Warfare 2. I was hoping today we'd have a little bit more of some positive things to be able to come back with, but unfortunately, not necessarily all the most positive notes here for the Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer release.
Yeah, if you've played Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, the new release, or not played it, you've probably heard about what's been going on. Some popular streamers tweeting about, hey, I've been in a party and crashed 8 times in one day. Or, hey, these maps are uninspiring. Or, why is there no hardcore mode? Bass, there's a lot of question to meet the eye when multiplayer, which was supposed to be the saving grace after an underwhelming campaign for Call of Duty, is now even more underwhelming. A game that will be stuck with everyone for 2 years now. Bazzi, I mean, you could expand on these points, but another one, no crossplay? I mean, people argue with new titles that just come out. When's crossplay coming? And they're like, well, we promise it's going to come. The new Call of Duty, no crossplay. Please talk, because I can't.
I mean, the reality is at this point, crossplay is basically it's a basic necessity. This is something we've seen from pretty much every single game. It is not really an option at this point that if you want to be successful in the modern era of video games, you need crossplay. You need to be able to have people play between different platforms and be able to communicate with each other. Now that we are not seeing this, like you said, this does not bode well for the future of Call of Duty. The fact that this title is going to be out for 2 years and it is not getting necessarily the best reviews. Granted, I will say a lot of the reviews are technical right now. The fact that they don't have certain maps added, the fact that they don't have certain game modes added, the fact that they have, straight up technical issues with FPS drops, game crashes, lobby crashes, all the likes. It's one of these things where when the game does work, it seems like it's not too bad. But the big issue right now is that not too bad is not what Call of Duty was going for here. They needed a bang. We had talked about this in weeks previous here, was that it was already a risk to go out with the campaign first. It was already a risk to change to a 2 year structure rather than a 1 year structure, and it was a risk really because the esports scene has not nearly had the impact that it has had over the years previous. Nope. And now that the esports scene has got to run with this multiplayer that is seemingly buggy out every single time that people play, I don't really know what else to say, but I am worried. I straight up am worried for Call of Duty right now because the big issue is, again, they're going to see success from this. Every single year, Call of Duty is one of the most selling franchises of the entire year, but it's only good if the numbers are staying solid. If they're continuing to go to a decline like we've seen over the last couple of years, Call of Duty's got to get worried. When does this title get so bad that people just don't give the same sort of attention as years past?
Right, because Call of Duty stands on its strongest leg that it is one of the most popular franchises for shooters. It is Call of Duty, so you get the game. But when you have major problems such as, hey, now the game is $70, so I'm hesitating a little bit. And, the skill-based matchmaking is kind of unplayable right now in the lobbies that I'm getting. And then, most of my friends are on different platforms, so I can't even play with them. I can't even, hop on with the boys late at night. I'm not saying, whoever's playing this game, everyone's playing Call of Duty, but you get my point. I'm relating to my own personal experience. People are thinking twice about getting the new Call of Duty title, so you've got to come out at least having the prerequisites for a major title game. We're not seeing that, Bass, and yeah, there are repairs that can be made. You mentioned some of them are technical, but like you said, at what point is it too much to give?
Yeah, at this point, it is one of these things where you got to think about first impressions being so incredibly important here. You see this a lot with Call of Duty. So many of my friends are, all right, do I really want to buy a new Call of Duty if I'm just going to play it for 2 weeks and then never touch it again? And now that everybody's kind of got that idea processed in their mind, they know how this goes, they're really even less likely to purchase Call of Duty and even put in those 2 weeks at all. It's a scary time for Call of Duty right now, but we can't necessarily be all doom and gloom. The game has just come out. We're going to give it some time to see how it goes. But for right now, the initial reviews have been mixed at best. Not a lot of people all too impressed by the technical side of this Call of Duty release, but like we said, we'll give it some time and see how it goes. Speaking of time, we've given these guys a lot of time, and unfortunately, it has not seemingly gone their way. Let's talk a little bit about the Halo Championship Series, and not only the viewership plummeting, but honestly, just overall, I mean, Pyro, this has not been what people have hoped for out of the Halo esports scene.
Okay, yeah, let's talk Halo. You said we're not going to be all doom and gloom, but here we go again. You are talking to someone whose top 3 game of all time includes Halo 3. This was a formative experience for my childhood and what infused the passion in gaming that I had. Going into Forge mode, making new maps like Duck Hunt or Zombie Chasers, and playing with friends and having the best time on multiplayer, playing shoddy snipes, all that good stuff. The game comes out, and it's lacking some critical elements. And it did have a polished campaign. It had a pretty fun multiplayer. But one big thing rose to the occasion. Where's Forge? Where is Forge? 1 year later, in November or October or so, when it was released, where's Forge? The beta is supposed to come out by the end of 2022, but like you said, time is ticking, and when you have a drop in viewership at this most recent major, or most recent grand finals, when you have the hype sort of deflating after recent experiences, and when you have key features of the game being delayed more than a year, things are starting to add up as to why Halo isn't seeing the popularity that we all wanted it to have.
And the issue is that these are all issues that initially came out. But now the fact that we're years later into this thing and we're still seeing the same sort of issues be same hot button topics, it's not helping Halo whatsoever. And like you said, viewership has been declining at, I wouldn't even say a steady pace, I would say a dramatic pace at that. Like you said, last grand final, peak viewership 143,000, which would sound not too bad, if not for the fact that their first ever event clocked out at 270,000 viewers almost. The fact of the matter is that they are declining very, very quickly here, and it's only getting worse as time goes on, considering the fact that we're seeing a lot of weird changes out of Halo recently. The biggest one, in my opinion, is the prize pool changes here, because initially, they announced at the World Championship they were going to be seeing a crowd-funded prize pool. The skins that you bought in-game will go directly to the prize pool. They advertised this for months on end, only to change it with very little notice ahead of time. And basically everybody goes, why? That's the big question at this point. It's infuriating to a lot of these fans that put in their money thinking it would go to the World Championship, and now Halo has pivoted and said, well, it's going to go to other events in the lesser scenes here for Halo, but no one wants that, especially considering that the next events that we do know that are coming up aren't exactly events, if that makes any sense. We're going to have this random event hosted by Optic Gaming. We're going to have a unique event, as it is called, hosted by Space Station Gaming, and honestly, I don't think anybody really cares about that, especially not in comparison to the World Championship. That's the biggest thing here, is that it's the World Championship versus community events. And now that we've seen this change in prize pool, the hype for Halo as a whole is dying down dramatically. We are also seeing players leave the game because of the lack of prize pool as well. A lot of professional players are moving into other titles like Valorant, like Apex, like Call of Duty. They're moving out because they just don't see a future for Halo. And to be honest, I agree. I think if Halo continues to be like this, they will not be an esport. They will not have any sort of legs to stand on at this point, because the issue is that they are further and further driving away those dedicated fans. Like you said, you're a fan of Halo through and through, but after seeing all of this, in your perspective, Pyro, would you even stay a fan of Halo Esports?
It is the most defeating, the most heartbreaking way to leave a scene. Like, as you said, I am a diehard fan of this franchise. I want nothing more than for this game to be popular again, to relive my childhood. I got a chance to do that when the game came out, but you need consistent assurance from Halo itself to tell the fans that we support you. We are here to provide the features, to provide the support for the pros that is expected. And, I get the change for the prize pool to go to lower events, but you really can't funnel that support elsewhere and divert at the last second until the main stage is supported enough. That comes first. That is the primary objective. And when you change course, well, guess what? So are the players, so are the fans. That's what we're seeing. So, Bass, trust me, this is not biased. This, if anything, I'm going against the grain. I gotta be like this. Lots of doom and gloom, Bass, but we're here to spit the facts and no less.
Well, unfortunately, the facts are at this point, Halo is in a dire state. We're going to have to find out how they're able to recover, or if they're able to recover in the next couple of months. Again, concluding the World Championship and then seeing these events from Optic and Space Station are really going to be tell-all signs of how good this game is going to be able to recover for themselves. But like I said, we're going to have to cover that another day. That is all that we have today for this show. We appreciate everybody tuning in here today to the esports.net recap show. Once again, my name is Bass in the Past, joined alongside by none other than Pyro J. And stay tuned for more content next week. We will see ya. Have a good one.
If you like this video, please leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications.